Sharing my screen. You will start off with migration and security today in BIP reports. So we've created the BIP reports, right? And we've created one BIP report, and let me show you how you can migrate it to a higher instance. I believe I've already shown you the migration, but let me give you a quick recap of that. So go to Tools, Reports and Analytics. And so we created this report, FT14, and inside FT14 we have created a BIP folder, and inside that we have created this AR invoice print report, right? And this AR invoice print report, so let's say similar to AR invoice, similar to this report, you have built 10 more reports, okay? And it's time to migrate this report to a higher instance. Let's say you build this instance in a dev instance and you need to move it to higher instance. How do you do it? The way you migrate it is, first you select the data model and you click on archive option available here. So under the tasks option, you see an archive option there. Click on it, click on OK, and that will generate a catalog file. And you select the report after that, click on archive, click OK. And that will generate another catalog file. And log into the instance to which you want to upload this report. So you go to a different instance. Say for example, I go to ECBP test. And I will go into reports and analytics work area of this instance, ECBP test. And say in the shared folders, say for example, you go to custom folder, and in the custom folder, you would have a folder created here, right? So you would have probably a finance folder created, and inside that you need to upload the report. So I'll create a new folder called migration demo. And let's say this is a folder you want to upload the report to. What do? You go to the target folder and you click on an archive there. And when you click on an archive, yes, it gives you an option to select the files. So you can select the data. You need to upload the data model first because the data model will be referenced in the report, right? It is referenced inside the report. So you select the data model first and unarchive it. That will upload the data model. And unarchive the report after that. And once you do that, with just a couple of mouse clicks, you are able to migrate this report that you have built to a higher instance. And when we say we were able to migrate, that includes everything. A data model includes the bursting queries, normal queries, SQL, the parameters, a list of value sources, etc. And if you look at the report, even the RTF templates would have been migrated as a whole, along with the options that you have selected. So you could see that the layouts are also migrated. Okay, so its migration of reports is quite easy from one instance to another instance. But you might argue that if I have 30 reports, which means 30 data models and 30 report layouts, do I need to repeat this exercise 60 times? You don't need to do it. You can migrate one report at a time or one component of a report at a time, like data model or a report, or you can migrate the entire folder as such. Say, for example, you have this FT14 or a BIP folder, right? So say, let's say you have, a 10 reports in this BIP folder. You've built 10 folders. Okay. You can see a navigation option, and even this back button is not enabled. Okay, that's fine. Go to custom again. FT14. Let's say you have 10 reports in this folder. Okay, and you want to migrate all of them to a higher instance. Then what you can do, you can archive and unarchive the folder as a whole, so that all the reports that are part of that folder will get migrated. Say for example, if you archive this file, there is only one report, but even if there are 10 reports, all of them will be included as part of the definition of this folder. And all you need to do is go back into the folder where you want to upload that. Okay, and you can go back into the folder where you want to upload, and you can say, for example, I need to upload it to a custom folder, or within that, if you want to upload to migration demo, you can do that as well. Okay, so what you can do, you can upload the folder here. So you can unarchive it. Select the folder, select the BIP catalog, and that will upload the entire folder. So if this folder has 10 or 15 reports, all the reports would have been migrated. Okay, so you can migrate one report at a time, or you can migrate all the reports as a whole. And to this report, there is an ESS job attached, right? Remember, we created an ESS job and we have run the report using ESS job, right? At the moment, you don't have an automated way to migrate ESS jobs from one instance to another instance. You will have to do that manually. So you will have to register ESS jobs explicitly or manually in every instance. Migration of reports is easy. You can migrate the code units the way I have shown you with the help of catalog files. But the ESS jobs needs to be migrated manually. There's no other option available at this point in time. Okay, that's about the migration part. And coming to the security. Yes, does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, Prasad. Yeah, Prasad Nagarjun here. That migration, you showed that within the cloud system, one cloud to another cloud.
Yeah, this is only possible. Nothing else is possible. One cloud to another cloud.
Okay. You want
this is when you normally migrate the reports. No, you cannot migrate them to outside a different application or a different system. That is not possible. So these are the reports that you're creating within a ERP cloud application. You can migrate it from one ERP cloud application to another one, say from dev to SAT or SAT to test instance.
Okay, there is location is there, no? So if you share that path with including with the instance name, so will they able to open in the?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
No, there is location on top. That location path is there.
Yeah, this location is there.
Yeah, that location. If you club with the instance name, can we able to open in the outside line?
No, it will not work that way. You will not be able to execute it like that.
Okay, same report if you want to integrate with the .NET or some other application. So
you cannot club applications together. It doesn't work. So this is a report that you have built in ERP Cloud, and it works only in ERP Cloud, and it works the way that we have seen in the past few days. If you want to migrate this report from one cloud to another cloud, you do it with the help of catalog files. .NET is a programming language. If you want to build a report there, you will have to build it using .NET. Yeah, you cannot even migrate report from ERP Cloud to .NET.
We want to take it over the data, whatever queries we have written in the data model. From there, we want to take is the data and send it to the respective application.
No, sending out data is you can run the ESS job, implement the bursting, file gets uploaded to SFTP or some other location, pick up the file and load it in other application. That is what we have seen in the last 2 days, right? So
Yeah,
what did we do? Why do we? Yeah. So migrating report, you're clubbing two things. Migrating report is different from migrating the files or the data generated.
Yeah, instead of placing the files over there, so directly we can connect over the this cloud instance, and is there a way it can be happen?
No, it cannot happen. It doesn't work that way. It's not possible. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Yeah.
So they were saying that ESS job manually migration, or you mean like each and every instance we will need to generate manually?
Yeah, you heard it correct. You will have to create it manually. It might sound ridiculous, but yes, that's the state that we are in at the moment. Yeah, you have to, at the moment, we don't have an automated way to migrate ESS jobs, which sounds silly, because I myself create 40 ESS jobs in 3 or 4 instances every time I migrate it to, every time we reach a milestone. Yeah, I would like to hit the person with a hammer who has built that product, but yeah, that's how it is. You don't have an automated way at the moment. In EBS or in other applications, you have options, automated ways to, yeah. In EBS, you can download the LED files and you can migrate it, right? But in other options, you don't have. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's move on. And coming to the security part. So when we created the ESS job, so security, there are 2 bits there. Okay. And the security, there are 2 bits. One, a security of the ESS job, and then a second security of the report. So if someone wants to run the report from the reports and analytics work area, so after you build the report, you can execute it from here. You can execute it from here, or you can execute it from here, or you can run it via ESS job. So 2 options to run the report. If the user wants to run the report from analytics and reports and analytics work area, the way you can do it is you can give permissions of your report. Okay, so what you do is you go to your report, you click on more, and you click on permissions, and you can click on the plus icon, and you can give permissions to other members or other users to access your report. And when you give permissions, you can do it at multiple levels. So you can give permission to a specific user. You can give permission to a role, so that whoever users or all the users who have that role assigned will get the permissions that you assign. Or you can do it at a catalog group level. Say, for example, I have built this report, AR invoice print report, and I have created this Fusion.tech user. And I want Fusion.func user to be able to run this report. So what do? I go ahead and search for Fusion.func user, and I change the list options to users, and I do a search. And you select the user, move it to select members list, and you can give the permissions. Okay, and when you give the permissions, you can mention, you can control, or you can basically determine what permissions you want to give to this user. You have a fine granular control there. So if you click on the drop down, you see a few options there. So if you give him full control, he will also be the Fusion.func user, will also be able to see this folder structure, and they will be able to see a report, and they will also be able to see the options that we are seeing as Fusion.tech user, because you're giving them full control. But if you give them say open access, only the open access, then what will happen? Then a Fusion.func user will only see the open button. He won't see edit or more options. So you select whom you want to give permission to, and you also select what permissions you want to give to them. So if you want to give only the open access to Fusion.func user, this user will be able to see the report, but he will have only open access. And say, for example, you have 10 users in the AR department, and you want them, all of them, to be able to access the report. Then in that case, you cannot search for each and every user and give them permissions, right? So in such case, what you can do, those 10 users might have some receivables role, like accounts receivable manager or accounts receivable supervisor role. You search for a role, and then you give permissions to the role. And when you do that, any user who has that role will get the permission, will get the privileges that you assign. So say, for example, if you say accounts receivable specialist or manager, say, for example, accounts receivable manager. So if there are 10 accounts receivable managers for different business units, all of them will get access to AR invoice print report. They will be able to run it and they will have full control on the report. So this is another way of giving access of your report to others on the basis of roles. So you can give permission of your report to a specific user or to a role so that all the users who have that role will get those permissions that you mentioned here. And apart from this, there is another option called catalog group, which we don't really use. But the way it works is at the catalog level. At the catalog level also, you can create groups and add members to those groups. And if you do that, you can select a group and you can give permission so that the users who are in that group will get the permissions or will have the privileges that you set here. Okay. And this is how the security works at the report level. So after you create a report, not every report needs to be tied to an ESS job. If the report is not tied to an ESS job, and if you want to give permission of your report to others, this is how you do it. You click on more icon and give permissions to them so that they can execute it. But in some cases, you might have a report registered as an ESS job, as in this case. In such cases, you need to give access of the ESS job to the user. So they should be able to run the ESS job because that's how they execute it, right? So when we went into schedule process screen, we were able to see the job and execute it, right? And so if you go to schedule process, we were able to see the job and we were able to execute it. And apart from that, if you click on the dropdown, we were able to in fact see all the jobs that exist in the instance. That's because this user has got a role called application implementation consultant. Okay, so remember what I mentioned during the security sessions. It's an AIC role. So it's like a superpower role. This AIC role will give you access to all the ESS jobs, and it will also give you access to this administration screen. So since this user has got AIC role, we can submit any job that exists in the application. But that will not be the case for real-time users, because you and me, since we are implementation specialists, we will have this role assigned. But on the client side, this will be assigned only to 1 or 2 members in a department, not to everyone. Then, but ideally the reports will be run by the subordinates or the others who don't have AIC role. In such case, you need to explicitly give permissions of ESS job to the user. How do you do it? The way it works is, whenever you register an ESS job, gives access to all jobs. And whenever you register an ESS job, what do you do it? So whenever you register an ESS job, what happens is, in the backend, privilege gets created automatically in the backend. And what you need to do is, you need to create a custom role . Okay. So you need to create a custom role, add the privilege that was created earlier, and one important point here is with a same name as ESS job. So whenever you register an ESS job, privilege gets created with the same name as ESS job, and you need to create a custom job role, and you need to add the privilege to that role. And then what do? You will, as a last step, you will assign the role to user. Okay, so few steps. Once you register an ESS job, privilege gets created with the same name. You don't have to do anything. And if it doesn't happen automatically, that means it's an instance issue, and you have to raise an SR with Oracle support and follow up with them. You and me will not be able to do anything in this regard. Okay, ideally privileges should get created automatically. And what you need to do is you have to create a custom job role. Say, for example, you create it as AR custom ESS jobs access role, and you need to add the privilege. Add the privilege for AR invoice print report. And if you have probably created 2 or 3 more AR related reports, you will add those privileges as well. And you will assign this job role to people working in the AR department, so that those users will be able to run the ESS jobs that belong to their work area. That's how it works. So how do you create a custom job role? For this, you need to have access to the security console. So let me log in as a user who has access to the security console. Okay, yeah, let me sign in. I need to log in as a user with admin access. Go to security console. Go to user roles and try to create a new role. You can call it as 5014 AR custom ESS job access role. You don't need to mention that. You can say FT14 custom job access, and you need to select the role category. Since it's a financial related one, select financials job role. Click on next, and you look at the privileges. This is where you should be able to find the privilege that is created. So search for FT14. You could see that the privilege has been created. Did we create it? No, it happens automatically. The moment you register the ESS job, it gets created. Add privilege to the role. And then you don't need to do anything else apart from this. If there are 2 or 3 ESS jobs related to AR, you can add all of them in. To this particular, you can add those privileges as well to the job role. And what you can do, you can assign this job role to the users who needs to run those ESS jobs. So say, for example, if Fusion.Func user needs to run this, what do? You go ahead and add in that user, and you will assign him this role. So what happens after this role is created and assigned to this Fusion.Func user, now if he logs in, if he doesn't have AAC role, even if he doesn't have AAC role, he will still be able to access and run the FT14 AR invoice print report, because we are giving him explicit access here. Okay, this is how you do it. Save and close. So that is the security part for at the report level and at the ESS job level. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Yes, Krishna.
Hey, Prasad, I joined yesterday. Yesterday was my first class, so I need to catch up with the classes. So I have a question. I'm new to Oracle HCM. So do you, when you kind of migrate the security, looks like it's a combination of all the roles and permissions and user access, right? So do you kind of do that as a will you be migrating that from the lower environment, because generally this is not supposed to be done directly in production, right? So does Oracle Cloud give the provision to do that migration of security?
I don't think you can migrate ESS job, the security roles or the custom job roles that you create automatically. At the moment, I believe you have to do it manually, but very soon you might see a feature to migrate it automatically. But for most of the features, yes, we're getting them one after the other. Oracle is trying to give an option to move them automatically. Like say, for example, initially we didn't have an option to migrate the functional setups as well. But then we got the configuration package, and now we have an option to migrate the setups as complete setups from one instance to another instance, and you have a fine-grained control over there. But at the moment, I believe we don't have anything available for security, but very soon you might get one. And the same applies to ESS job.
Got it. So that means all the details that apart from even assigning the users to that particular role, so entire thing that you just showed, that should be kind of replicated manually in production if we have to create a new role?
At the moment, yes.
Okay, thank you.
At the moment, yes, but you don't directly do it there. You will test it out thoroughly in 2 or 3 instances before that. But yes, you will have to do it manually. But you will be given access only for a brief moment, like maybe a couple of hours, and client will be working with you. And once you are done with the security setups, they will revoke the access.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have, for the past few days, we have been looking at, we have built a custom report, and we have explored various options related to the custom BIP report build and execution, right? So in some cases, you might have to customize a seeded report as well. It's not always about building a new report. Sometimes you might have to customize a seeded report given by Oracle. So in such cases, there is a specific process you need to follow. So say, for example, just give me a minute. I need to undo one change. I don't want to confuse you guys. Let me undo one change, and then I will execute this use case in a couple of minutes. Just bear with me for a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes. I'll also explain what I have done after I explain the use case. Just give me a moment. One more minute, guys. I will be explaining the use case. Okay, fine. I'm sharing my screen back. So say, for example, yeah, you might be asked to build custom reports, but at the same time, you might also be asked to customize the seeded reports given by Oracle. And say, for example, you see this particular report called Payables Payment Register Report. So this is one of the seeded report given by Oracle, which you can use to just print the payments that have been done in a specific business unit. Okay, so it's an out-of-the-box report that you get with the application. So what does it do? It prints the detailed information about the payments that are done. Okay, so if you run the report, it will prompt you to enter the BU, select a specific BU, and you select the context as well. Yes, say you want to print the payments or invoices, you can print both of them. So let's say you want to print the payments, and say I want to print the payments that are done in the previous 1 year. Okay, let's go ahead and submit this. And what will happen? This out of the box report, there would have been a layout attached to this report, and the output gets generated by default with that layout, right? So let's wait for the report to finish. You could see the report output generated. It's generated in PDF format, and if you click on the default document, you will be able to see the payments. It looks like there are no payments. So let's increase the date range. Let me run it for a bigger date range. Let me run it for 2 years. Let me run it. Yeah, submit the request one more time. Yes, select the report output, and you can see the PDF output generated. Click on it, and you could see the details that are generated. Right. So if you open up the PDF document, you can probably save it here. And you look at the report, you see that the report output is generated with the seeded template given by Oracle, right? So it has all this guys. It has got Oracle logo, and it has got the seeded report template. And so client is okay with most of the details that they have in this report, but they might want you to change few bits in this report. So say, for example, they might ask you to change something in the report layout. Like say, for example, they might want you to upload their own logo there instead of Oracle logo. And say, for example, in the fields that are printed, they might want you to take out one of the fields, which might probably not required for that particular client. So certain layout changes might be requested by the client. And when client asks you to change something in a seeded report, how do you proceed? So let's say for this report, client has asked me to change the logo, and client has asked me to change one of the fields on the table. How do I approach it? The way I approach it is, first I need to know what report is getting executed when I run this ESS job. And how do I find it out? If you go to the ESS job definition screen, you will be able to figure out what is the report that is getting executed by this ESS job. So you copy the report, copy the ESS job, go to setup and maintenance. Go to global search and search for manage enterprise job. Search with this pattern, manage enterprise jobs. Go to the financial jobs because it's a financial job. and you can you can search for the job that you have created, that you have just executed. Search for the job, seeded job, edit it, and get the report path from here. So when you run this report, when you run this payables payment register report, this is executing. This is running this report in the background. So let's go to this location in the reports and analytics work area. So I go to reports and analytics work area. And under shared folders, I need to search for this path. Under shared folders, scroll down to see financials, pick it up. And under financials, you scroll down and you search for payables. And under payables, you search for payments. We just need to go to this path, and under payments, you might see a payables payment register. So this is a dashboard. That's not the one that you need to check. So this is the one, payables payment register. This is a report. So you can make it out from the symbol itself. And payment register .xero, right? So if you look at the name, so if you click on properties, you will be able to see the name in there, payables payment register. So this is a name that this is a report that is getting executed. And to this report, there will be a data model attached. So if you edit the report, you will see a data model attached, and there is a layout attached. And if you look at the layout, if you look at the seeded layout, this RTF template was used to generate this output, printing the payments. Okay. So client has asked me to modify this layout. So what I need to do was, you need to follow a set of steps here. So the first step is to click to customize a seeded report. Okay. So you select the report and you click on more option. You should see an option called customize here. You're not seeing that customize option because you will see that customize option only when you try to access this, access the BI server or access the XMLP server directly. So for an ERP cloud instance, there will be an XMLP server attached, and you can access it by using this specific format. So say, for example, we want to access XMLP server of ECBP instance. So you put the instance name followed by XMLP server at the end. So you copy this link, access it in the next tab, open it. And if you go to the same path that we have seen just now, go to catalog. And go to shared folders. You can go to financials, payables, payments, and then you have this payables payment register report. So if you look at this report from XMLP server link, if you click on more, you will be able to see an option called customize. You will not see this option when you try to access it from the normal reports and analytics work area. So if this is how the report appears in the normal reports and analytics work area, and if you click on more, you don't see a customize option. But you see a customize option when you try to